Hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new playthrough of a game that you may or may not have seen already. I'm not sure. But there's a number of playthroughs out there if you like, and you can go explore those. I highly recommend them. One Stop Co-op Shop, I think. Definitely Rolling Solo played this. Board Games with Naramis played this. I think there's lots of options for you to watch a playthrough of Lord of the Rings Journey in Middle Earth. Now, something I'm going to do different is I noticed that a lot of people are playing with the PC version of the app. I'm going to be playing with my iPad just to show you. It's not really any different, but it does give you that mobility. And we are about to set up a new game. So in this video, I'm going to go through the setup of the game and kind of show that to you. I've already kind of separated a few things out, gotten us marginally ready for this playthrough, and I have read the rules. The rules are actually not very extensive because this is an app-driven board game, which is neat. I'm also going to do something a little different from what I've seen with characters being played. I haven't watched all the playthroughs. In fact, I intentionally didn't watch them all so that we could enjoy this together. And I hope that you like it. I got everything prepped and ready to go. Now, if you haven't watched my Madara playthrough, I just wrapped up the first entire scenario, and that is posted there and live. And in the very last episode, I announced who won a copy of Madara. So please check that out when you get a chance. But what we're going to do today is we're going to be playing Lord of the Rings Journey in Middle-earth. So what we're going to do first, now there's a couple things you could do. You go to your collections, but right now there's only one because the game just came out, and it also has the full rule book there as well. And you notice this is Game by Fantasy Flight Games, and I think Asmodee did the app and all that stuff. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun, and this is a combination, or a culmination rather, of a bunch of other games that Fantasy Flight has done with this style. For example, Descent and Mansions of Madness, to name two. I don't think those are the only ones. I'm not sure. But those are awesome games, and so we're going to take this one for a ride too. But let's get started with our new game and see what happens. We're just going to hit new game, and we're going to say, what do we do here? Well, it's going to tell us to select a story. There is a story mode. It says Bones of Arnor. Ancient kingdoms once spanned the realm of Arnor, kingdoms that now lay in ruin. The free people who still inhabit these lands are scattered, simple and few. Beyond their poorly patrolled borders, an unknown darkness gathers, and only a small band of ostracized rangers has taken notice of the threat. Habarad, captain of the Northern Watch, requests your aid. A shadow is within the borders. Forces gather outside the rangers' reach, and tales of unquieted dead begin to circulate anew. Woo! Okay, scary stuff. Anyway, this is the new campaign, so we're going to select the difficulty, and I'm going to tell you right now, we have a choice of normal, right? Okay, or hard. I'm not playing this. I've never played this game, so we're definitely not going to play on hard. We're just going to play on normal. So we're going to select a save slot. They're all empty because this is brand new. I haven't played this game yet. By the way, this is a blind playthrough, meaning I've read the rules, but I have not played the game. So pardon any errors. Now, here's where we get to pick our characters, and that's going to give us some stuff. Now, here's where I said I want to do something different. I know a lot of people have picked Aragorn and Legolas and even Gimli, but I decided to do something slightly different. I thought I'd go with the short folk. And we're going to go with Bilbo, first off. And we're then also, now it recommends in a solo game that you play with at least two characters. So the other one's going to be Gimli. And those are going to be our two characters for this because we're going to be playing in solo mode. So let's start that game, and it's going to tell us what we need to do for equipment. So we need to get a cloak and dagger for Bilbo, and ringmail and a battle axe for Gimli. Alright, well there are our two items. Now we're going to go over the character sheets as well, but I just want to show you that I got the dagger out. And we're going to take a quick look at the dagger. It shows what it does on successes. So if you get one success, it's 2 hits. If you get 2 successes, it's 3 hits, and it has the pierce ability with the dagger. It's one-handed, and I think that's the value of it. I'm not sure. It shows it's a basically level 1 item. Then we have the cloak as well, and the cloak says before you shuffle or suffer a wound, or I think that's panic or some fear or something like that, you may spend, it's kind of similar to taking damage or sanity in the other games, you may spend 1 inspiration to prevent one of those. That's pretty cool. That's the cloak right there. You can see that it is a cloak armor item. And then over here we have Gimli's ring mail. It says decrease your I got to remember all the stats, guys. Sorry, your agility by 1, and then it says if you would test one of these 3 items, which are wisdom. Let's see, wisdom, spirit, or or will. I think it says negate. To negate, you may test strength instead. So that's his ring mail, and then you have his battle axe, which does a similar thing. On 1, it does 2 hits, and it does sunder, which means it breaks through armor, and then it tells you in the app what these things do, and then on 2, it does 6 hits, it's 2-handed, and so on and so forth. So those are the 2 items that we're going to start with our 2 party members. Now, we have to enter a party name. I'm going to call it Doug Miss Dick I. There we go. Oh, not dog, Mr. Guy. That's crazy talk right there. Okay, well, let's just do this real quick. And I could do dog, Mr. Guy, but that I'm not going to. All right. There we go. Okay, and then we begin. Now, it's going to start us off with a number of things to do. I don't remember if it tells us the story right off the bat, but it might. And then we're going to pause for a moment just to get our act together.
Darkness that rises slowly. It dwells among us, masked and unobtrusive. One must be paranoid to know it's there, to notice, hunt it, and root it out. In recent months, a rash of thefts have swept through Eriador, from the white towers of Emin Beriad to the old ruins of Weatherton. Not 2 weeks past, many of the older treasures of the Shire's Madam House disappear into the night. The significance of these thefts may seem small, but I sense the shadows in their wake. I fear a sinister and hidden purpose, and so I have called for your aid.
Okay, so I hope you heard that well enough, but if you didn't, you can read it. I'll turn the volume on the speaking parts up. I turned it down so that I could talk to you while we're playing. So now we're going to hit the embark button. I think we're supposed to already have our skill deck set up. That's fine. We'll do that in a moment. But let's just do that, and it should give us a map, right? Yeah, it does. It says a shadow in Eriador, Chapter 1. You can see the map of Middle-earth there. So we hit continue again, and it's going to focus us right in there and start to give us our story. It says, the theft of Matham House is the talk of the Shire, for seldom do Shire folk play a role in the larger world, and so these events seem small as a hobbit. But one small fellowship has gathered together to seek out the brigands. Okay, so we're going to do something real quick right now. We'll continue on because I don't think we're done yet with this. Let's see. I think we have to pick our class. Yeah. Okay. So I know that we're going to pick burglar for Bilbo, so that's pretty obvious, and that's going to change some of the skills that we get. So we'll take that, and then once we do that, I'll show you what the skills are going to be. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, with Gimli, it suggests what you should do with Gimli. Let's see. Guardian. Yes, so he is going to be a guardian. Boom. All right. Now, we're going to put this aside for just a moment. We're going to get into our characters a little bit more and get their starting equipment and gear and skills and all that all set up, their skill deck. Okay, so we're going to start here with Gimli. Now, what do we have here first? We have first our 6 basic cards. These are the same basic 6 cards that everybody gets. Those are going to be part of our skill deck right here. We have, I'm not going to go through each one, but that is part of that. And then we have our character class cards right here. You can see this say Gimli, and we're supposed to have 1 through 5 of those. You can see we have those. These are Gimli's special ability cards. And then last but not least, we have the 1, 2, and 3 starting cards for his role, which is in this case the Guardian. You can see that there. You cannot pass, ready defense, and ready defense. So those are going to go up there. We're going to shuffle those up and get those ready. Now there's another step that we have to take. I'll do that in a moment, but I'm going to show you Bilbo's as well. And there you go. So we're going to shuffle this all up and go to Bilbo. Before we do, I almost missed it. We have to add something in. I wanted to show you this. These are weaknesses. Now these weaknesses don't necessarily do anything. they just clog up your deck. So we're going to get a weakness for Gimli out, and we'll shuffle that into his deck. So he gets, let's see, he gets late. He is late. And then we'll draw one for Bilbo too. Bilbo got impeded. So those are the two weaknesses that are going to be in their decks. Basically, they don't do anything significant. They just cause problems for our characters. And basically, I'm shuffling that into his deck here for Gimli. And again, they're just there to make things harder for us. So again, now we have the 6 for Bilbo. We have the 6 starting cards, just like we talked about. Those are going in his pile. We have his 5 cards for Bilbo specifically. The Tookish part, which he has a couple of those, well nourished, simple desires, and the road goes ever on. Those are his, and then the 3 for burglar, which are quiet and self-sufficient. And then of course we pulled his impeded. That is also going into his deck, which we're going to shuffle up. Now you notice that they have stats. They also have so fear and damage stats, and they also have a special ability. So you can see that while we're shuffling, Bilbo is Might 2, Wisdom 2, Agility 3, Spirit 3, and Wit 4. It says special abilities before you interact, which is one of the actions you can take. You'll see that. Look at the top card of your deck. If the card has a success symbol, which is inspiration symbol, which is that symbol right there, gain 1 inspiration. You can equip only one-handed item. Okay, well that means he's going to hopefully get Sting at some point or something better than what he's got. So right now he's got a dagger, and that is going to be Bilbo. We got his deck set up right there. We will briefly take another look at Gimli. His might is 4, so a lot tougher than Bilbo, obviously. Wisdom 2, Agility 2, Spirit 4, so he's got a lot of resilience to his soul and spirit, and Wit of 2. He's not that high in wit. Now, Bilbo had a 7 fear. You can see that Gimli's got a 4, but Bilbo only had 3 damage, and Gimli's got 6. It says after you attack, you may place 1 card from the test on top of your deck. That's really powerful because it means that that's how we gain our successes, is through that deck, right? So let's continue on with the app now and see what we have to do next. So I had thought about playing an all elven crew, but then I said, no, I'm going to do the short people, Gimli and Bilbo, and see how that plays out. I haven't seen that yet. So I've seen Gimli, but not by himself. So here's our story. We're gazing into the Palantir. Okay, everything's getting set up to play, which means we're going to start setting up our map. It says, somewhere amid this maze of dark thickets and steep gullies, the band of thieves now hides. Your direction is informed by a set of tracks from 2 days ago, and you can only guess the location of the thieves' lair. Continue. Now, there's a number of things going on here. We'll just go as we play it. So we need to get tile 302A as indicated and place it just like so. There is 302A placed out on the board for our map to start building out. Now let's see what we have to do next. We've got that out. What's going to happen here? Well, it says, if you cannot locate and enter the hideout by dark, the trail may be altogether lost. Place the 2 heroes as indicated. Each hero scouts 2. Here are our 2 heroes. They're going to be right there. And then I'm going to tell you about scouting. Let's take a look at that. I want to show you what that is so that you can understand how the game basically works. Scouting is something you do when you're gathering your cards and you're preparing your skill deck. So let's see. I need to finish. Just want to make sure I got everything right before we do that. Yeah, place tiles and tokens. Okay, this is where we get to draw our cards. And so I'm going to look for the scout action on here so I can just read it to you and show you what that looks like. But basically, it's how we get our new cards. And as I look through this, I should have been more prepared to read it to you, but I'm not. It should be in the rally. Let's see. Okay, hold on just a moment. I got to find this for you so I can show you what scouting does. Here we go. It's under the rally phase. It says, first, each hero resets their skill deck by shuffling their discard pile into their deck. Then the app instructs the heroes to scout 2. A hero does this by revealing the top 2 cards of their skill deck. Then the hero may prepare one of them by placing it below the hero card. If a card is prepared, the ability on that card is available for use. And that's what we're going to do right now with both Gimli and Bilbo to get us started. Okay, starting with Bilbo, I did pull out his starting skill card, which he gets. Notice it does have success on it, which we won't be able to use because right now we have the Tookish part. It says innate valor. Before you test, you may discard the skill to test the wit stat, which is a 4 for him, instead, and gain 1 inspiration. Hide. After you test, discard to become hidden. That's a status that you can get here, which we'll deal with later. But right now we're going to draw 2 cards and see what he gets. So the first one we're going to is another Tookish parts, and then we also get the road goes ever on. Now, one thing that you have to do, this is where some of the skill or the strategy comes into play, because you have to look at this. This one has a success on it. So if we're going to make a test, we would like to have a success. This one has an inspiration on it. So to make this a success, we'd have to spend an inspiration. Now, then we look at to see what these do. So the Tookish parts we already know. We already have one. So I think we're going to put this back on top, because that's what you do when you scout. You put this back on top of our deck. And that gives us, and we know that then that next draw will be a success. And we can take the road goes ever on. It's a song. It says, during your turn, you may discard the skill for you and each nearby hero to move up to 1 space. So it gives us some extra movement. I think we'll take that one to start with. Put this back up on the top of his deck. Now, we don't have, these 2 characters don't have any particular ability to gain any more scouting. Like if you have Aragorn, I believe you get to draw, if you're near him, you get to draw an extra one. But we don't have that. Moving on to Gimli, he has the Poet's Heart. It says, before you interact with a person token, gain 1 inspiration. So we've got to remember to do that. I'm going to have to watch that carefully. It says, and then rest 2. Discard at the end of a turn to discard 2 face down wounds or fear. It's pretty good. Then we're going to draw 2 cards for him. So the first one we get is a Clever Wit. Again, it is not a success, but it says when you test Wit, you may discard the skill to add 1 success. Okay. Or the other card that we're going to get is going to be Ancient Wisdom. When you test Wisdom, you may discard. So it's basically the same card, just different abilities. His Wisdom is a 2 and his Wit is a 2, so I don't think it matters too much. So I think we'll put, because that has a success, we'll put the Ancient Wisdom one on top and we'll take the Wit one there. Now I know that Bilbo, for example, has a high wit, but we'll see. Again, this is how we're going to play it out. Just to start, I haven't played the game, so I don't know if I'm doing things well or not, but that's how we're going to start. The importance of putting that skill, that card back on the deck, that top of the deck that has a success, is when you make a test, you're going to draw as many cards as you have in that stat. So, for example, Bilbo, if he had to do a fight, like he had to use might, he would only get to draw 2 cards. So we know right now that one of those cards can be a success, and that could be helpful for us. But let's continue on. What do we have to do next? It says, hearty laughter and loud crashes emanate from the woods. Place a person token as indicated. Okay, that's weird. Isn't that right where we're starting? We'll have to check that, but okay. Sounds good to me. And there that token is. Now you also notice this track up here. This is the I think it's like it's a timer. I can't remember the name of it. Terror or something like that. If it gets up high, like we're going to have an event right there at 15 once it gets up there. So we have to move kind of quickly to get through this and see what we can accomplish. So let's go to the next thing. It says, continue. A dense fog blankets the area, obstructing your vision with its dark shadow. Place a threat token as indicated. So we're going to do that. And here's our threat token right here in that space. We're continuing on. Okay. Then it says, place tile 100A as indicated. So let's go grab that. Here is tile 100A, so we're going to slip that in, it looks like right there, into our map as it builds out. You can see we're building out a nice forested area. And then we're going to continue on. What do we have to do there? It says, in the distance, a group of ragtag individuals close the door of a stone tomb. Could this be your quarry? The thieves you are looking for. Place a person token as indicated. Now the person tokens do have different images on them, so I'm assuming that's important, but we're going to place him right there on that tile. There they are. You can see our map building out to something cool. Alright, what else do we have to do? Oh, then we're going to take tile 201A and place it as noted. Okay. This one is placed a little differently, so I think it looks like it's going to go just like this in here. We'll take a look at the app when we go back to it, but it looks like that is how our map is going to build out. And I'm correct. So there you go. We got 201A there. And I believe it's going to tell us to put a token on and 207. This is interesting. Okay, so we got to get 207 out and place it on the map. And if I'm looking at this correctly, it looks like it's going to leave a space right there, and it's going to go like so on the map there. All right, there we have it. Man, we're getting quite a big build out here. I think that's interesting is this is building out differently than some of the other playthroughs I saw. So even when you're playing the same scenario again, it doesn't always turn out looking the same. Now we got to place 2 exploration tokens down. Exploration tokens are great ways to get inspiration. We're going to place one there because when you explore a new area, you almost always get some inspiration, which allows us to get extra successes and things like that. So there's that. And next up, what do we do? Pausing to tighten your boots and adjust the weight of your gear. You take a breath before continuing on. Each hero is going to test spirit. Each hero who passes gains 1 inspiration. So to pass, in this case, we just need to get 1 success. Say it's a spirit 1. So let's go do that. Now we know we were really smart about that, so we know that we're going to pass. That's a good thing. Even still, we have to draw the number of cards equal to our spirit. So in this case, it's good for Bilbo. It's going to be 3. Even though we know we don't need 3 cards, we're going to draw the first one, which we knew was a pass. The second one, we're going to draw this Simple Desires. That's going to go in there, and hopefully it's his bad card. No, it's not. But we know that we passed. These are going to go on the other side right here in his discard pile. His deck will go down right here. And he succeeded, which gives him an inspiration, which we put right here. As you can see that Bilbo can get 6 inspiration. We're going to do the same thing with Gimli. Now we know that he passed. Now his spirit is a 4, so he's going to draw 4 cards. So we know he passed with Ancient Wisdom. We set that up already. Then he has this, I'm sorry, Ancient Wisdom. Ooh, I'm glad I caught that. That was not a pass, actually. Ancient Wisdom was not the pass. Neither of them had a pass on it. That is an inspiration. It doesn't matter, because on the second one he got Ready Defense, which does give him a success. His third one does not give him a success. And his fourth one does not give him a success. So these are now his discards for that test. And he too gains an inspiration. So yeah, that first one wasn't a inspiration symbol, not a success symbol. So that means we both have 1 inspiration we can currently spend to gain additional successes, should our cards have that symbol. And I think that's about it for setup. I think, yeah, objective update, confront the thieves. Okay, so we know that our current objective is we have to confront the thieves. Now, we also know that we think we know the thieves are in a space just north of us, but we don't have to tackle it immediately. We'll see how that goes. Let's take a look. So now we're going into the action phase. What happens in our action phase? Well, a lot of things can happen in the action phase. Let's take a look at the quick reference on the back of the book here, just to show you that this is a quick reference page on the back of the main rule book, and it shows the round sequence. This is action phase, shadow phase, rally phase. Well, here's the action phase. It says during a hero's turn, they can perform 2 actions. A hero can perform the same action twice or 2 different actions. Easy enough, right? There's only 3 actions you can do. You can travel, you can move up to 2 times. You can, by the way, split your movement, so a hero can perform their second action between their first and second movement. Pretty cool, right? And then you can attack an enemy in your space. If you have a ranged weapon, you can attack in an adjacent space, and then interact with a token in your space. Pretty good. So what are we going to do? We have 2 actions, and we're going to take our first turn, and we get to choose who we start with. We can start with anybody we want. I think I'm going to start with, let's start with Bilbo. We have these people laugh. You know, we heard the laughter from the people that are in the same space as us. And Gimli does have this. It says before you interact with a person, you gain 1 inspiration. I could have him interact, but then he can get rest too. And I gotta look. I don't know if you have to do that or not. It says discard at the end of your turn, but I don't believe you do. I'm gonna look that up real quick, because if that's not the case, I'm gonna have him go, because then he'll get another inspiration. Okay, yes, we do not have to discard that until we use the rest ability. Otherwise, that top portion is always in play. So we can basically, before you interact with a person, you gain an inspiration token. So we're going to have Gimli go first. He's going to step up and interact with the people in this space right here, which means his that ability of Poet's Heart triggers, and that gives him a second inspiration, which will be very helpful. Now let's go back to the app, because we are going to do our first action, which is interact, and that's what we did right here. We chose to interact, which is what triggered that ability. This is his first of 2 actions. We're going to blow the map up just a little bit here, and we're going to talk to this guy right there. Now what does this say? It says hearty laughter and loud crashes emanate from the woods, and we're going to choose to interact. Now we can always read these. Like, I can go to each one of these and read these and then cancel. without spending my action. But we're going to do that. When it shows the little arrow, that means that you are taking the action. So we're going to do that and see what it says. It says, you approach with caution and are relieved to find two burly human woodcutters sawing away at some tall pine trees. Several felled trees lie near them, and the men chopping them into smaller pieces for firewood. "Hello there," booms one of the woodcutters. "You look strong. My partner and I are down a man today. We'll share our lunch with you if you help us chop." Test, let me see, that is going to be might 2. I think that's a wise thing to do, and we have to get 2 successes. Now we have inspiration, we can probably do this, and we're going to take a look at it and see if we can do it. Yeah, he's going to help the woodcutters. Interesting, I did not see this in the playthrough, in other playthroughs. This is going to be different. Do I have anything that can help him? I do not. I'm not worried about it. I think his special ability, no, it's an attack. So he has a 4 might. We need to get 2 successes. So let's see what we get first. Oh no, that is his weakness card. At least that'll be in the discard pile for the moment. There's 1 success. We're halfway there, guys. And we got an inspiration. And ooh, nothing. So to pass, I'm going to have to spend one of these inspiration tokens, which I will gladly do so we don't fail. And that gave us a pass of 2. Now there's 2 types of tests. One's like the first 2 we've seen, which give you a target, says you have to test successfully to do this, right? And that's great. But there's other ones that don't do that. So that make you like put in a number and you don't know exactly what the result's going to be. This is a case where we actually did pass. We had to spend an inspiration to do it. And it says, you roll up your sleeves and pick up an axe. Well, this is Gimli. This made perfect sense. Within a few minutes, you're drenched with sweat. The smell of pine tar fills the air, and you are covered in tiny chips of bark. After an hour or so, you break for lunch, and the 2 men compliment your handiwork. Your muscles ache pleasantly, and you feel a sense of peace after the energetic work. Either gain 1 inspiration or discard 1 fear, then discard this person token. Well, okay, it ended up as a null result. But we don't know that. However, it does give us 2 of our 3 inspiration tokens back right now. And then we are going to remove this person token from the board. It is kaput. Then we're going to continue. So you can see now that that token is gone. Now we still have another action to take. I think what we're going to do is that he is going to move, actually. I think that's what we're going to do. Now, he'll be able to move, but now as soon as here's one of the things. When you take an action to move, and you move into an unexplored space, you're still going to get to explore. And that's why I'm thinking I'm going to have him move and explore that space. Just to give you an example, let's look at exploration. Each journey map tile has a square with a box on the exploration tile. As indicated, to explore a tile, the hero selects the appropriate exploration token on the app and confirm button. All you have to do is move, though, when a hero moves into a space on an unexplored spot. So we're going to do that. So he's not going to take a full movement. He can move up to 2. So for his second action, he is simply going to move to this space. Now, I can keep moving, but I don't see a point right now. I think we'll just do that and remove that exploration token. Not to worry, I am going after those thieves. That's another reason I don't want to move him 2, because he's only 1 move away from them. So he can move next turn and interact, or what we think might be the thieves that are in that other space. However, we're going to take this token. So what do we get? Explore. Yes, we're going to confirm exploration. Alright. Old trees and older stone dance a twisted path through this way. Discard 1 exploration token, gain 1 inspiration. These tokens are convenient because on one side is the exploration marker, on the other side is the inspiration. Now we have 3, so we can't get any more. There's no reason for him to explore further, but we do have to continue. Okay, let's continue and see what happens here. It says, your journey continues, and that is going to end Gimli's turn. We have completed Gimli for this round. Now we've got Bilbo, and I think for Bilbo, his first action is going to be a move action, where he will go here. Now, remember, he can move 2, but he's only going to move 1. He's going to move into this threat area with the fog. Now, he's a little thiefly guy. He can hide. He's got some inspiration. I'm not too worried about him. But we're going to go up then, and for his second action, remember, he can move again after that to complete it, but for his second action, he's going to interact with this threat token in his space. And hopefully, I figure a thief in the fog, he should be able to do okay. We're going to, and it says here, a dense fog blankets the area, obstructing your vision with its dark shadows. So we're going to spend his action to search. Okay, shadow lives within the fog, creating a barrier that your eyes cannot penetrate. Unable to see the ground on which you stand, you hesitate and push forward. we're going to be testing Spirit 2. Oh, that's kind of rough. Okay, well, we do have 1 inspiration. Let's see what we do there. The thing I don't like to do is fail. Now, his spirit is only a 2, so that's going to be rough. Anyway, we know that the first one, I could have sworn I put the right cards on the top of this deck, but I guess not. Okay, well, anyway, this is not a success, and neither is that. This is bad. We are going to fail. So there's no point in spending... I guess I wasn't paying attention. I put 2 on top. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He failed. So he did not succeed at that. We're going to put those over there. There's no point in spending that inspiration because we need 2 to pass. Something tells me this is not going to go well for us. We fail. You falter, finding neither firm footing nor stout heart. The impenetrable barrier remains mocking your cowardice. You suffer 1 fear. Uh-oh, that's no bueno. And then we're going to continue. And I think that's it for him. He can move again. Notice it did not tell me to remove the... I'm looking for the feared cards. I found the wound cards. I've got to find the fear cards as well. I did notice that it doesn't tell him that he has to... let's see. Hold on. Let me find this deck real quick here. It's going to be in one of my slides. I had them all separated out. I cannot find them. Let me look through this other stuff here. I'm going to look for this the fear... deck and get that out in just a moment. Hold on. So I'm guessing that we can actually do that again if we want. It did not take the token off the board. So we can still stumble through the fog if we want to. He's not the guy to do it though. With well, you know what? I made a mistake there. It says Spirit of 3. I'm going to draw 1 more card before we do that because we might have passed. Okay. I forgot. I only drew 2 cards. So anyway, we did not. So it didn't really matter. So the 2 cards we drew were these 2, and then we ended up with that 3rd one. We still didn't pass, so I'm going to give this a quick cut and get us a card. It doesn't. Did it say? It said draw a fear card. So that means I don't believe if it's face down or face up. I'm not sure. I think it says. Let me just read that real quick. It says that you're not allowed to look at the front face of it unless you're instructed to do so. We were not. So I'm going to put that right there, and now we know that he has a fear. Now, Bilbo does have a fear of 6, so I'm not too worked up about that. That was his 2nd action, so that means that we are going to basically... I could move again. I could stay there in the fog. Could move 1 back and see. I think I'll just stay put. Again, I don't know if I want to do that again, but I don't know. I think we'll just stay there for right now. If I do need to go... Well, you know what, though? I will move back. I'm going to move him back into here as part of his movement action after he interacted with that space, because just in case if there's some ability that means him being next to the space is helpful, then we'll check that out. But I don't think there is. However, we're going to end our turn, I think. So that will be the end of that. What happens after that is we're going to go to the shadow phase. It says enemies activate, darkness is resolved if necessary, and threat increases. That's what that track is. So let's go take a look at that. Okay, so we are going to click here and it says end the action phase. Yes, we have taken our 2 actions. We're going to confirm that, and it's going to start to tell us what to do. Shadow phase is upcoming. Boom, the shadows deepen through hopes yet endures. We're going to increase our threat by 6. That seems like a lot. I think if I had taken that threat token off, it would not have gone up as much. But we failed. So, you notice we're not too far off from taking a hit on this. This is each hero resets their deck, then scouts 2. So what does that mean to reset our deck? Well, it says during the, this is going to be the rally phase. It says each hero resets their deck and then scouts 2 cards. So let's look at what reset. I think that means we're going to shuffle all of our stuff back in, right? So I'm going to take a quick look at the reset portion of our stuff. Let's see. It's nice to be able to... Again, this is a blind playthrough, right? So I want to make sure I'm doing it right for you, but I also want to let you know what it'd be like to just do this. If the game effects instruct a hero to reset their skill deck, they shuffle their skill discard pile into their skill deck. Okay, so it says to reset and then scout 2. So for Bilbo, we're going to take this and we're going to shuffle them all together. Okay, and we're going to scout to... Bilbo's already afraid. Poor Bilbo. I don't know what to do with him. He's not a real brave guy anyway, right? Okay, let's see. Is that enough? I think so. Okay, we're going to do one more. And then we'll cut one, and then we'll... One, he gets quiet. If you would discard hidden, you may gain 1 inspiration and discard the skill instead, and it says hide. So that's 1, and then the second one is is impede. So obviously we're going to we know if we put this on top of his deck, this is what it is. Now, also, you can only have 4 skill cards. That does not include your equipment. You can only have 4 skill cards. So we're going to have 3 right there. I think what we're going to do is we'll take that, which means it'll be discarded, and we'll put this, because this does have success, we're going to put this on top of his deck. That was an unfortunate draw for us. Gimli's doing much better, so we're going to shuffle up his deck and draw some cards. All right. So we'll cut there. Let's see. We'll draw the first one is going to be Undying Spirit. It says when you... Okay, we know what that one does. It's you get to do a little substitution. And it says Ready Defense. When you test to negate or... Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to put this one on top of his deck, and I'm going to take the Unyielding Spirit. It'll help him out there. It's probably not the right move, though. I do want to make sure we get some successes in there. So we did our scouting too, and we're going to continue. Action phase. Now we're back around to our action phase. But guys, this has been a pretty long video, so we're going to stop right there. Let's see. I think if I go here, I can save and quit. So that's what we're going to do, guys. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I hope you're enjoying the start of our adventures with Bilbo and Gimli in the Lord of the Rings. And we're checking out. We're looking for some thieves that stole some stuff. And we're going to find them and bring them down. So guys, I hope you're enjoying this. Again, blind playthrough, but I want to show you really with these app-based games, it's so much easier to do a blind playthrough because you read the basic rule book, which is not very thick, right? It's just I don't know, it's like 16 pages, and then you can get started. So that's it, right, guys? I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy our adventures through Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle Earth.